Welcome to another episode of Clean Water Champions, a virtual clean water celebration. I'm your host, Brian Fox-Ellis, and today we're taking a field trip to Emiquon. Emiquon, what does that mean? It is Spoon River, where the Spoon River enters into the Illinois River. Our host today is Jason Beverlin, who works for the Nature Conservancy. They've restored one of the largest wetlands in North America. What can we learn from this project to help us with other restoration efforts?
All right, well, we're here in late afternoon in December at the Nature Conservancy's Emiquon Preserve, which is located in Fulton County, Illinois, just across the Illinois River from Havana, very near Springfield, right next door to Dixon Mounds Museum. We've got Fish and Wildlife Service property, Chautauqua National Wildlife Refuge, and the Emiquon National Refuge right here. All in this little stretch of the Illinois River Valley. There's about 14,000 acres in conservation management. The Conservancy's been here since 2000. We own about 6,700 acres. Most of that is the wetland that you can see behind me and off to the side of me. It's a great place to see birds. Hundreds of thousands of birds migrate through here during the fall migration and the spring migration. Right now, back behind me, there's several, probably tens of thousands of snow geese resting on the water. As the weather changes, you're going to see different birds come in and out. So it's really a great place for folks to come and experience the outdoors and really get a bird's eye view with some of our observatories and other things of the way this wetland can look and the critters that call it home. So these wetland areas are important, these floodplains, these backwater areas that really have a relationship with these rivers. They provide a lot of benefits, not only to the animals, but also to people. So from cleaning up nutrients to storing flood water, to of course providing great recreation and great bird watching and habitat, it can actually recharge groundwater. So these backwater floodplain areas are really critical habitats for us, not only in Illinois, but really around the world. The Nature Conservancy is a science-based organization, and that's true here at Emiquon. We really spend a lot of our energy here monitoring the work that we're doing. We partner with the Illinois River Biological Station, Forbes Biological Station, and countless other organizations that have all kinds of interests. Things from fish to bird counts. We're really interested in the vegetation. We have folks looking at camera traps where they're taking pictures of animals so we can get an idea of what all is here. So lots of information is gathered, this data, which is really important for our management. We use this information to make management decisions. Right now, we just completed a drawdown this summer, and a lot of the information that we gathered helped us make those decisions as to when we would let water go down, when we should let water come up, all those kinds of things. So we're really dependent on this science, and in fact, every year, we're so pleased with our science that we do an Emiquon Science Symposium where we get hundreds of people together, all talking about the science that's going on here and in some other places so that we can learn from that. We've got the University of Illinois at Springfield that's built a field station on our property geared to science with lab space, all those kinds of things. So it's critical to our work. We're pleased with it. We get somewhere around 20 to 30 different research projects here every year. And again, we use all that information to make good, solid management decisions. So we started restoration here in 2007. We bought the property in 2000. We had a lot of things we had to do, a lot of planning, a lot of infrastructure to deal with that was on site. Once we got done with that, we did start the restoration. And one of the first things we did was work with the Illinois Department of Natural Resources to do a fish stocking here. We stocked somewhere around 2.2 million fish into the system. Things like you would typically think of bass and crappie, but also more of these ancient backwater fish like bowfin and spotted gar. And in fact, we just worked with DNR again to stock some alligator gar. So lots of neat, interesting fish went in here. But one of the things that we need to do is make sure we understand how the fish population is doing. The different species are doing. Are they still finding a lot of this stuff that we stocked? And so we work with the Illinois River Biological Station and the Illinois Department of Natural Resources to monitor these things. In fact, the IRBS, Illinois River Biological Station's out here almost weekly during the season, or more than weekly, probably during the season, doing fishing. They do shockings where the fish come up. They can get a good idea of what's there. They also look at the vegetation, because that vegetation is really critical to these backwater areas, and it's good fish habitat. And so we spend a lot of time and energy getting a good handle on those things, because it tells us how we're doing from a management standpoint, and can point to changes in our management that we may need to do because of the way the fish populations are reacting to our management. We used to always joke when we bought the property that if you build it, will they come? And the reality is they do come. Birds come in the hundreds of thousands to Emiquon to use this wonderful wetland and the food source that we have for them and the habitat for nesting. And to help us understand that, we work with Forbes Biological Station that comes out and does inventory for us, looks at the nesting. They also look at the vegetation similar to fish, but with a different eye. We really want to understand what birds are here, how they're doing, their success rate, their nesting, their egg, all that kind of thing. Helps us, again, with our management. It's a great place to come and see birds, and actually you can use places like eBirds. You can go to Forbes Biological Station's website. They do an aerial census during the fall and spring migrations, where you can get an idea of the numbers of birds that are in the entire Illinois River Valley. It's a great resource to use to understand what's here. There's other places, Illinois Audubon, just lots of places to go and get good bird data and kind of gauge the time you should come down here to see the kind of birds you're most interested in. Honestly, any time of the year, winter, spring, summer, and fall, it's a great place to come and see birds. This area during the spring and the summer, you can see the black-necked stilts, which are some of my favorite birds. They've got really long legs. They're kind of funny looking. I love to see them, and they'll actually be in our visitor use area. So birding is a big thing here, and if you're into that, you should really come and see it. And again, you should visit some of these websites to get a good idea of what's here and what they're learning about all the different birds that use Emiquon. As big as Emiquon is at 6,700 acres, when you compare it to the floodplain that's along with the Illinois River, we're just a drop in the bucket. And so for us to really, change the minds and the way these floodplains are managed, we think it's a great idea to have the public visit Emiquon, to help us understand how our research is going, our restoration work, maybe one day replicate what's happening here. So really getting visitors out here is an important way for us to demonstrate all the things that are going on here. And to accommodate visitors, we've built what we call our public use area. We have 2 observatories. One of them is here behind me now, which is our wetland observatory. Each one of them have interpretive panels in them that talk about different parts of our restoration work, or the history of the area, or the history of the Illinois River Valley. So you can come down here on your own, learn about the project, learn about the valley. We're open 7 days a week, 365 days a year, from sunrise to sunset. And as I said, it's a great way to experience and get kind of a close-hand view of all the wetland and restoration work that we've done. We've also got about 2.2 miles of hiking trail, boardwalks. We've got the observation platform, spotting scopes, so plenty to do down here. And as I think I mentioned earlier, we're close to Dixon Mounds Museum. We're also close to U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service property. So once you've experienced this, you've got other places you can visit and learn about as well.
Wow, that was an inspiring field trip. What can we learn from these large restoration projects that will help us with restoring the wetlands in our neighborhood? Maybe you could go out and find where there used to be a stream bed that was straightened. You could find where there used to be a wetland and help restore it. What could we learn so that we could be clean water champions, working together to improve water quality?